All right, welcome back everyone. So we are now getting going. Apologies for the delay. I think all of our guests have figured out their technical challenges, and I am getting set here in San Francisco as well. We are coming to you from across the country today. I am in San Francisco, and our guest is, I believe, in LA. We'll find out in a moment. Mark will let us know where he is. He's been traveling a lot, and we have startups from New York and Colorado coming with us today. So all across the country, and we had a few technical challenges across the board this morning. So we're getting started about 10 minutes late. If you were on a little while ago during the testing session, you saw me chatting to myself. But I think we're all set now, and we're just going to hope that this works. As people come on, I will say a few words about what we're doing here. If this is your first time joining us on what we are now calling BizStart.Live, welcome this morning. My name is Jennifer Hopp, and I'm an investor in seed and pre-seed stage companies, and I started using live streaming as a way to connect more startups from across the country and around the world with investors and experienced entrepreneurs. Something that here in Silicon Valley we really take for granted is how easy it is to connect with investors and entrepreneurs and ask questions and solve challenges with regard to starting companies, and that's not something that is as easy for others in different environments and different regions. So we have started live streaming in order to use this tool to connect people. So that's what we're doing today, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. I'm super excited about today's session because we'll be doing some startups related to health and fitness, and our guest investor is also a health guru and fitness inspiration, and he will be talking about his story both in terms of his health and fitness as well as his investment strategies. And so I'm really excited about it because it's a passion of mine in addition to being an area in which I invest. So before we do that, and as folks get started, this is my stall tactic to give people a chance to find us and log in, especially on mornings like today when it takes a little bit to get going. I'll tell you a little bit about BizStart.Live. Today is a pitch session. I'll run through how that's going to work. But we also have 3 other types of sessions that we do, and I'd love to have you involved. So if any of these sound interesting to you in addition to pitch, then let me know. You can send emails to hello@bizstartlive.com, and I will get those. So pitching is obvious. You could pitch your startup, and a guest investor and I help walk through some questions, and those often turn into investment opportunities. Even if you're not ready for funding at this moment, it turns into a way for you to connect with Silicon Valley investors, and we then follow through with conversations afterwards. I've actually invested in 3 companies through this process already, so it works. We connect with people, and I know that we've connected others with investors here in Silicon Valley. So if you'd like to pitch on BizStart.Live, let me know. The other sessions are Share. Share is what I call our fireside chats with experienced entrepreneurs. We've had an NFL player come on, talk about why he starts companies even though he has a professional sports career. We've had another entrepreneur who started a company when he was 17 and came on and talked about how other teens could get started early. And then we have an upcoming session with someone who's just gone through the FDA process. So those share sessions are really an opportunity to talk about different aspects of starting companies that are helpful to people who are thinking about starting their own business. Hash sessions are a lot of fun. We'll be trying to do a hash session next week, and those are often with an experienced entrepreneur, and it's an open mic session where anyone in the audience can come on as a guest and tell us about their business idea, and we hash it out with you, and we ask questions about who else in the market is doing it and what might be good ways to test it. So those are the hash sessions. And then the last type of session is called the Learn session, really geared toward investors and angels and bigger VCs firms as well, just exposing people to different markets. So we look at different regions and different verticals. We've done a broadcast on Puerto Rico and the investment opportunities in Puerto Rico. We'll be doing another one on Portugal, another one on Mexico, and I think in Iran in the upcoming schedule, as well as different verticals. So we're also looking at film investing and real estate. So those are the different types of sessions. Again, if you're interested in getting involved, send an email to hello@bizstartlive.com. Now, how today will run. Today is a pitch session. Today we will have Mark come on, who is our guest investor, and he will spend about 10 or 15 minutes talking about his background, and then we will invite our 2 startups to pitch or present their companies. And so they'll have about 4 minutes each to talk about their company, followed by Q&A. The first Q&A will be questions from me and Mark and the audience, so if you have questions, please write them in the chat stream. If I miss your question, don't hesitate to rewrite it. It sometimes it goes by quickly and I can't see it. And as I'm sitting here talking to myself for so long, it makes me realize that I never asked if I could be heard. So and sometimes when I go off and come back on, I am not heard. So I will ask that really quickly, and I'll ask it in the chat stream, can you hear me? And if you can or can't, please let me know. Feedback from the audience is great. So I'm going to sit here and look for a minute and make sure that I can be heard. Yes, thank you, Danny. I appreciate that. Beautiful, Melanie. Thank you. Super helpful, and that's exactly the type of feedback we love in the audience. So if you can't hear, you can't see, or you have questions, definitely participate in the chat stream. If you're just watching, we encourage you to log in. And a lot of times we end the broadcast and we see that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people actually watching, but not logged into you now. So we didn't know until the end. So if you are watching and you're not logged in, please log in and join in the chat stream, and that's super helpful. So as I was saying, so we'll let the startups do a pitch and then a Q&A with us and the audience, and then at the end we let the startups ask the audience questions, so they can ask about the product and features and get feedback from you as to how it's helpful or not and what they could do to improve their products. And then at the end, Mark will come back on and give his final answers to questions that were directed toward him, as well as his final thoughts. So with all of that, I'm going to do my very best to bring Mark, our guest investor, on to give his introduction and talk about his background a little bit. So hold on tight, Mark. we're gonna give this a whirl. And I know we had some technical challenges, so I'm looking forward to this actually working. Oh, and why this is connecting, I'll say one more thing about this background. So people have noticed the background. It is a green screen. Oh, there's Mark. Hi, Mark. Good morning. I was just going to tell people about this green screen and my solution for it. So this is a green screen, but this is actually also my view. And I used to do it in front of the window, but we get this glare from the lights. So I threw up this green screen, and then people either love it or they hate it. So what I've decided to do, rather than fight it, is I'm going to let people give me the background image. So if you follow me on Instagram, you often see this because I film in front of it. You could send me images, and then when I do a broadcast, I will choose one of them. You can log in and see if I've chosen your image. So my Instagram is Jennifer P. Hopp. So if you follow me on Instagram, send me whatever you want to see behind me here, and we'll start putting up your pictures instead of my view of San Francisco. So that's that. So Mark, welcome. I'm so happy that you were able to find a technical solution.
Yeah, I thought I would just do it on my computer, but I always use my phone. That was the mistake. I should have just gave up on my computer and just used my phone.
Well, we've got it all worked out now. So I'm glad that the phone app. That's the nice thing, at least about is if your browser doesn't work, then you've got a fail-safe with the mobile app, which usually work well. But if we drop you, don't worry. We'll just keep going in the chat stream and reconnect.
Awesome.
So with that, welcome, and we can't wait to hear more about your background.
Awesome. So my name is Mark Hamadi. Thank you, Jennifer, for having me on. I was born in 1974 in Beirut, Lebanon. I came to the U.S. in '85. Didn't speak a word of English. Learned English. Joined the Marines to give me citizenship. After the Marines, I did a few jobs. But one of the big things is I ended up being in a wheelchair for 2 years. Got to 390 pounds. Then had stomach surgery, distal bicep surgery, and then knee surgery. I was born with one leg shorter than the other. And right now I'm 174 pounds, 9% body fat, when I used to be about 390 with about 44% body fat and size 58 pants. I've invested, I've raised capital, I've grown companies, I've turned around companies. I'm an operator, but one of the biggest things I want to say about this morning I got up a little bit depressed, didn't know why. That's why I'm not shaving or whatever. And it's all about being authentic. And then I had to get out of that groove. So we're all not invincible. But so although my story is great and I'm proud of it, I just want to say that it takes a lot of work, and you can do it. So if you ever get depressed or sad or whatever, that's okay. You just have to fight it. But we're not invincible. That's a little bit about my story.
Thank you. Thank you. I've heard a little bit of it in the past, and it's such an inspirational story. And while we're talking about fitness and health startups today, and each of the entrepreneurs, including myself, we all have our stories, and I'm sure a lot of people in the audience do. So for you to be willing to share that and inspire others is truly amazing and helpful, and we appreciate that. Do you want to talk a little bit about your investment, both your entrepreneurship background maybe, and as well as how that led you to do investing?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you work for people, you realize some people are great and they mentor you well, and others are not. And so I decided at a certain point that it's all about the people, the planet, profitable enterprise, women entrepreneurs. So I really wanted to make a difference. I felt like in a leadership position, I could do that. We can affect change and inspire people. I started out in a restaurant, a car dealership. And then from then on, I moved into recruiting. And recruiting, as I placed CEOs, I learned about what they needed and the different. And from that, I transcended to a COO, CEO, and work with people. It's all about really the people. And now I'm part of the Veris Capital. We invest in companies that have, at least 10 to 20 million EBITDA, and we try to give them capital and help them turn around. But I've done small, medium, large startups. I like everything, really. It just has to make sense, and the people have to make sense. You can't go wrong with it.
I think you cut out for me a little bit, Mark. I don't know if you're frozen.
Can you hear me?
Now I can. Thank you. It was frozen for a minute.
Okay, so within companies with at least 20 million EBITDA, and we help give them cash to grow to that next level. I think that did you miss anything else?
So it cuts in and out for me a little bit. Can others in the chat stream let us know if you can hear Mark?
Can you hear me better now?
I can. It's loud enough. It's just cutting in and out a little bit. Well,
I'm moving. Better.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. So I think it's okay. So it's funny. We always talk about live streaming. It's not the same as TV, and the technology is hit and miss. But people tend to be very flexible and understand that. So we just kind of roll with it. And if there are a little bit of delays, so Christopher is saying that it's cutting in and out for him a little bit as well. But we'll I think that was just about. Were you finished with your information about your investing strategy?
So the Veris Capital, I'll go a little bit slower. We invest in companies with 20 million in EBITDA, with healthcare, technology, real estate. We're flexible. We've done startups. We look at the people, the pain and the problem, and if it's the big need in society, then we try to help the entrepreneurs.
Perfect. And so, and you'll talk a bit about this maybe at the end as well, but if people want to get involved or contact you, how do they do so? What's the best way?
Absolutely. I'll talk about that. We also do leadership development. We're willing to help people in any way possible that they may.
Perfect. And then if you want to put information in the chat stream as well, the chat stream isn't saved to the video, but for the audience members who are watching, it's super helpful. So we keep information going in the chat stream as well. So with that, Mark, I'm going to. So this is the way this generally works. We can guest one person at a time, and so I'm looking. Oh, let me see. All right. So I'm getting a text message from one of our guests here. Let me see. Okay, so I apologize. I'm multitasking and not very effectively on the air, but I'm getting a text from one of our guests, and they're trying to figure out that they have an emergency with their pet. So I'm going to drop Mark right now and bring on David to talk about his startup. And I think we're all going to enjoy this. I know I do. So Mark, thank you so much. Hang on, and you can participate questions in the chat stream with our startups, and then we'll bring you on at the end as well.
Awesome.
All right, thanks so much. All right, David, you are up first with Challenge Box, and I don't see you in the stream. If you can add yourself, let me see if you're in the guest. Oh, perfect, you did it. Beautiful. All right, so we're connecting and we're adding David right now, who is the CEO and founder of Challenge Box. It says it's connecting.
Okay, it's connected.
All right, beautiful. Good morning or good afternoon.
Right. Good afternoon.
Right. We've been a little slow starting this morning. Little glitches here and there, you know, but it's good. It's all live stream. It's one of the nice things about this is it is casual. Everyone comes as their self in their, as Mark alluded, in our authentic form, for better or for worse. So welcome. And you've been traveling a lot too. Are you in New York this morning?
No, I'm actually not. I'm in Texas this morning.
You're in Texas.
Yeah. Yeah, so just to kind of give you guys a little background, I have one of my good friends. He's running across the country right now, from San Diego to New York City, and he's an ultra marathoner, and he's running across the country to raise money for veterans awareness. And so I committed 2 weeks to be on the road with him, and this was one of them. And so I don't know, we're in the middle of Texas, and here I am. So I'm really pumped to be participating in the talk today.
So are you in an RV right now by any chance?
Can you tell?
I wasn't going to say anything, but then when you said you're crossing the country, I was like, oh, well, maybe it is. It does look a little Burning Man-ish.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to get to a coffee shop, and and I think the timing got all mixed up. So you make do, I guess. So yeah, I am in an RV.
It's perfect.
So.
It's perfect. Awesome. So without further ado, I love what you're doing. It's awesome that you're able to join us on the road. That's one of the things that makes live so fun, and is that we can connect people no matter where they are. You don't have to be here in Silicon Valley to join in, and that's exactly the whole point of BizStart.Live. So we're really happy to have you, and we can't wait to hear about Challenge Box. So
yeah,
anytime.
Okay. So Challenge Box is a fun startup. I started earlier this year, in February of this year, so we're in our first year. And what we do is our core premise is that our goal is to help people live healthier using data. And so with that being the case, when we started the company, one of the areas I wanted to look at was where do we actually have data, and where are the largest pools of data that people are creating that's based on their physical activity. And Fitbit was that pool of data. So what we did was we essentially created a product that is two parts. The first part is an online software that analyzes your fitness activity, and you give us a fitness goal, whether it's running a race or losing weight or getting stronger, and we give you a challenge each month that you can achieve, and you can earn points from that challenge. And there are different components in the challenge to help you to encourage a holistic view of behavioral change around your health. So part of the challenge might be that you have to log your water or food intake every day. Part of your challenge might be that you have to just be active for at least 30 minutes for 15 days a month. Part of the challenge might be that you run 5 miles a week each week of the month. So we have that software part. And then what we do is we actually pair it with an offline component to the business, which is a box that's essentially a monthly kit, kind of like Blue Apron. So we send you a kit with healthy snacks, fitness gear, and fitness accessories, and give you workouts that you can do alongside your online challenge. So it's been a really fun company from a software perspective, because we get to kind of analyze people's data and help them live healthier, but also from a product perspective, because we get to deliver people a tangible box that they can open up and get excited about each month, and that also has an impact on how they participate with the product. So yeah, that's Challenge Box in a nutshell.
Awesome. And you said you started this year. And so since launch, I can't believe it's already November. So what month did you launch in?
February. February was the first month that we shipped boxes. Yeah, and over the last, we have thousands of members. We signed up, thousands of members so far. And our members love it because essentially it's one of the only products of its kind. It basically kind of, you can find an app that might give you workouts. But when you're starting your fitness journey, or at any point in your fitness journey, part of that is kind of, if you're beginning to run a race, you might decide that you need, new socks, or you might decide you need a belt to kind of put your cell phone in or your keys in. So it gives you all these all these products that you might need or want to have as you get healthier. And so it's been, that part of it has been fun too.
So what types of challenges, you mentioned the race, but what types of other challenges have people signed up for? And as we're going, this is a great opportunity for Mark. If you have questions, you can ask David as well, and anyone else in the audience, if you've got questions for David about Challenge Box, this is your opportunity to ask those. So you mentioned, yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't know if you heard me.
Yeah, I did. So the challenges that we have are, they're personalized. So we look at your fit. If you have a Fitbit, we're adding Apple Watch and Garmin in the next few weeks. But you have a Fitbit, we analyze what you did last month. So maybe you only ran, call it 8 miles. Maybe you ran 2 miles a week last month. We'll kind of look at that, and we'll kind of bump it up by 10% or 15% to kind of give you a challenge that was better, that helps you progress past what you actually did last week. And so it's actually physical activity. So whether you're planning to run a race or whether you just kind of want to lose weight, we might say walk 10,000 steps a week or a day, or we might say run 10 miles a week based on whether you ran 10 miles last month. And then what we'll also do is we'll look at whether you take, you measure how much water you're drinking, or what amount of calories you're eating every day. And so that part of it, the things that we can track using your wearable device or using an app, that's where we kind of build out the challenges. We also do a weekly challenge where our entire community, we look at who has the most steps. So steps is a kind of a core KPI across all fitness apps. They'll track how many steps you took. And so each week you can enter a weekly contest and additional points.
Nice.
And have 300 to 400 people every week that participate in our weekly step contest.
In your weekly, I didn't hear that last part, the weekly.
In our weekly step challenge.
Okay, perfect. So you've got some questions in the chat stream coming through, and Philip says that he's a nurse, and he is skeptical sometimes about the devices, wants to know if the data is kept personal or if it's transmitted to insurance companies. I could see pros and cons to both, but whether or not you have control over it is probably the real issue. And then there are a couple of other questions, but I'll let you answer that one first.
Yeah, so we don't. So the data is we don't use the. Okay, so we don't transmit the data to anyone else outside of ChallengeBox. We use the data solely to create a fitness challenge that is personalized for you. So we don't sell it to brands. We don't sell it to insurance companies or anything like that. And I understand, those are obviously, I worked in advertising before that, and personally identifiable information is really important, especially when it comes down to your health. So we don't transmit any of that to any third party. And then I see another question coming in. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. So it's privacy. Obviously, you've taken that into consideration, and then there could be other uses for data sharing in the future, depending on how it's developed. And then you were about to ask another question. Mark was asking about how to motivate people who, it's great. Apps are great for people who have the motivation to turn on the app and to load their information into it. How do you keep people motivated and inspired who might not be? How do you overcome that challenge? And I like the idea of using the data. You answered this a little bit, using the data to sort of step people up gradually, rather than saying, well, you failed last week, too bad, start over. It kind of steps things up gradually. But how are some other ways that you keep people engaged on the app? And this is good both in terms of meeting your fitness goals, but it obviously goes hand in hand with the business side of things too. User engagement on applications is key for making a business run. So what are some of the things that you do for user engagement?
Yeah, and I actually, so that's a really great question, and I actually think this is lost in most tech companies, and why we've been able to see the success that we've been able to see, which is that there is no shortage of fitness content on YouTube, on fitness apps in the App Store. There are tens, if not hundreds of thousands of them. And, I think so if you really wanted to be in shape, it's not that hard or expensive to do it. But what we do is we do two things, which has been working really well. The first thing is that we incentivize. So I guess to start, and I see a question from Mark here. So ChallengeBox is $30 a month. So you pay $30 a month, and you get your fitness challenge, but you also get a box sent to you each month, which is kind of like your fitness kit. So firstly, you're paying for it. The second thing that we do is you can earn points based on achieving your fitness challenge. So if you earn all 100 points in your monthly challenge, that translates into $1 that you can redeem in the ChallengeBox store. So you actually get discounts, and you can buy the healthy snacks that we included in the box from the store. You can buy tank tops from the store, and other fitness apparel and accessories. So essentially, it's like a loyalty program where if you achieve your challenge, you get these points back. So it's kind of that's part of the motivation, which is kind of like this incentive. But the third part is just getting a box each month that is kind of this new jolt of motivation. The first week of the month, you get your box. It has it has all the things it has a new exercise item, so you can try a new exercise item. Sometimes we include an exercise DVD. It includes new healthy snacks that you can explore, and it's a reminder to eat healthy, because what you eat is such a huge part of your fitness and your health. And then we include things like a motivational quote, a motivational insert, as well as a nutritionist note and a feature from a personal trainer. So it really is like a kit. So each month it's kind of like a new experience for your fitness journey.
Nice. So I like that you've coupled the app with the box because of the fact that everyone likes to get a gift.
Right.
And it really is, that is a motivation. Have you thought about, and it sounds like you could redeem things, have you thought about maybe having it be that the box is a reward for completing certain things? So right now you subscribe to the box, but is there a standalone app and a standalone box, or do they always come together and can one feed off the other?
Yeah, I think we will eventually do a standalone service whereby you whereby you do pay, something, or maybe it's free and it's sponsored by brands. But you can still get your challenges even if you don't want to get the box. But what we found is kind of coupling the box with, not many people just pay for fitness apps. And so, the goal, and there are no shortage of fitness apps. So what we would have to do is figure out something special that we can really do to kind of stand out from the thousands of apps that are in the App Store. And the box really does kind of by coupling the two together, it creates a new, a different integrated experience. And so that was, that's the idea, but we'd have to have something really special that we could do to decouple the app from the box. So we thought about it, but we want to maintain what makes the product unique.
Nice. And then let's talk about users a little bit. So you started in February and ramped up pretty quickly with your tests, and now what are we looking at in terms of users, and what you're seeing for holiday season? Actually, is probably we'll see a little bit of seasonality, a little bit of a bump, and if you're anticipating that, and then what you expect for the new year.
Yeah. It's funny. Most of our customers are female. Our product is, I think, 95% of our customers are female, and a lot of them are looking to, of course, lose weight, or just kind of that's kind of the orientation for this product. And I think that adoption for Fitbit itself does skew female. And so as we expand, I think what we'll do is we'll release different versions of Challenge Box that are targeted to different types of people in their fitness journey. So, I go to the gym, so I don't necessarily need Challenge Boxes. I don't need equipment, but I might need supplements, or I might need, or I might want, weightlifting gloves, or I might want, other things that, are more geared to people who are more active, or are more, have kind of a deeper experience in working out. And so I think as we move forward, we'll kind of double down on our existing audience, because that, that's huge, and that's a lot of, we can help lots of people live healthier. But I think that the model does kind of the model can move to other demographics who are more sophisticated. Like right now I'm on the road with an ultra marathoner, and there is potentially a case for a box that compares ultramarathoners or people who are really intense about working out with other people, and sending them supplements every month that they would buy anyways. And so, the idea is that we kind of pair this offline or kind of commerce experience with a digital component. And it makes for a great business model. As you mentioned, we don't have to ad support it. We don't have to sell data to insurance companies, and it keeps us honest with our members. And we kind of see it as Amazon-esque, right? So it's like if we can understand what you want, then we can kind of give you all the things you might want or need in a specific area. And Amazon has done really well with it in books and music and everything else that you want. So hopefully we can do that with fitness. Nice, perfect.
So now it doesn't show to you, but we have over 200 people watching. So are there any questions that you'd like to pose in the chat stream? And hopefully people will log in and answer, and if they don't, they can continue to send feedback to me and on my YouNow wall. But do you have any questions for the audience that you'd like to take the opportunity to ask?
So how many people how many people use YouTube to find workouts? Just give me a comment.
Oh, interesting. Using YouTube to find workouts. So meaning like trainers doing example workouts and that kind of thing? Yep. Oh, okay. So that's actually an interesting question. So Twaki says yes. Mark says he does. So and I actually haven't. I just I use my app and my trainer, but or people that I'm working out with. So that's actually really interesting. So do you use YouTube to look for different exercises and training workout plans, or are you thinking more like what we used to do, the old school videos, and they used to have workout tapes, like workout with that kind of thing, at home workouts? Or do you mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, so there are actually, I mean, it's actually a huge, what we've seen is that there's lots of content on YouTube, and people go to YouTube. There are YouTube stars who create workouts, and millions of people follow them, yoga workouts, or so we're kind of looking at ways that we can partner with those people to bring that content onto the platform. So I'm always kind of curious to see how many people are actually using the YouTube content, and that's kind of one of the things that we're talking through right now, is whether we actually pull some of that in or partner with some of those people. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. And it looks like people are saying in the chat stream that that they do use it both to find workouts as well as to make sure that they're doing their exercises properly.
Great.
So that's good. Good feedback. Any other questions, or do you have a question for Mark? We'll bring him on at the end. I'm looking.
No, I actually have one more question. I actually do have one more question.
Yeah, please.
So, how much, if anything, do you spend each month on working out or on fitness, and whether that is a gym or whether it is a ClassPass subscription or whether it is a Challenge Box subscription, if anybody is a Challenge Box subscriber out there. But how much do you spend about per month? I mean, give me a range. $1 to $30, $30 to $75, $75 to $150, or more than $150.
Okay, so I'm just going to type my answer in because I don't want it recorded.
Yeah.
But, okay, well, you gave us these. It's actually, I will let it record. I'm in the top bracket. I'm afraid, or not afraid. Health and fitness is my hobby and my passion, and for me, I spend a lot of money on the gym and making sure that I have access to gyms when I travel, and I travel a lot. So I pay a lot for gym memberships and trainers. That's where I spend most of my money, in addition to vitamins and supplements. So and I eat a very high protein diet. So I probably, if you include diet in there, I probably spend more on food than most people do per meal. But I eat less, maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to make myself feel better. But as Mark says, thank you, Mark, health is the true wealth. So it's super important, and that's where I spend all of my disposable income, is on health and fitness. So anyone.
I think that's a really great point, is that it's kind of like one of those things where once you start, there's no, you kind of, once you realize the value of it, you continuously invest, you invest more and more and more. And so it's kind of fun to, that's the only reason why I ask, is because, some people don't really spend a lot, and then some people spend a ton. I'm probably in the upper echelons as well as you guys are, so.
Yeah, so I don't see anyone else. Mark says that it's a loaded question. He spends over 300, and it's easy to do, especially if you're focused on quality food and supplements and gym memberships. It adds up very quickly. Somebody else is talking about Twaki, what it counts on leisure center where you pay each session, not annual membership like a private gym. So I don't know if that's a typo. I'm not sure what that is. What is the leisure center, Twaki? Let us know more. That's interesting. Where you can go in and just pay for sessions rather than the entire gym membership. That actually is a great idea. I'm not familiar with too many people doing that model. So if you know of gyms or fitness centers that are doing that model, share in the chat stream. It sounds very interesting, where you don't have to do a membership and you can just do walk-in stuff. And Naeem has a very good point too. He says nothing tastes as good as being fit and healthy feels. So that's good. I have this fly. This is why I'm swatting, and I realize now I'm swatting at things on live on camera. So this would go in, if this were really TV, this would go in the blooper reel as I'm swatting at things. council-owned. Oh, I see. It's like a council-owned gym and swimming pool. Interesting. So, like the cities sometimes have parks and recreation centers where you can go in and swim. For example, you just pay for the session. You can go do swim laps and things like that. So you might check that out in your area and your region if there are public gyms and public swimming pools and tennis courts and things like that. Perfect. So if you feel like sharing how much you spend on fitness in the chat stream, you can continue to do that. That's a helpful data point for Challenge Box, and David would appreciate that. Omar says he pays $600 for a year for his. Is that, Omar? Is that your gym, or is that additional fitness stuff that you're talking about? And and we've got a lot of the chat stream on my side is going by quickly. So as you, Omar says it's for the gym. So if I missed your question or your comment, definitely feel free to type it again. When the video ends, the chat does not save. And so I'm checking right now. Apologies, David, while I do this. Our next startup is Allie, who you know because you introduced me to Monday Carrot, and she is currently at the vet. I hope she doesn't mind me sharing. Her dog pulled her to the vet this morning, and I'm going to see if she's ready to come on. And if not, then what I'll do is I'll bring Mark back on so that he can give his feedback on Challenge Box, and we will reschedule Allie for another time if she's unable to come on. But this was super helpful. We're really excited about Challenge Box. I can't wait to get involved and start receiving my boxes as well. And and before I end this with you, David, I want you to be sure, one, if you have any last questions for Mark, he's going to come on at the end and make sure he answers all your questions from an investor's point of view. Whether or not you're seeking funds right now, you may be in the future, and it's a great opportunity to talk to investors about some of their advice with regard to pitching and when you're ready. The other thing would be to make sure in the chat stream, let people know how to sign up for Challenge Box and where to get more information. Obviously, the website is one way, and you might put that down in the app, and any other information, make sure you put that in the chat stream so people can get it.
Yeah, absolutely, I will. Yeah, it's great to meet you, Mark. Thanks for joining, and thanks for your feedback. My question, and Jennifer knows my disposition. My question is: it sounds like you do later stage investment, and you've done some turnaround work. At what point in time do you think the ideal time is for a startup, whether it's revenue or growth, to take investment? In your
Great question. I'm going to put it in the chat stream too. When is the ideal time for a startup to take investment? And that is, and I'll just preface it with, that is a question that we hear a lot because startups are often unsure of how fast to grow. It's either grow fast or grow slow, and what are those determining factors? So I'll leave that for Mark to give his feedback on how to assess whether or not it's the right time to go for investment. But it's a great question. Hopefully others will learn from it as well. So I'm getting another text, a live text. All right. All right. So it looks like, unfortunately, our next guest is going to have to reschedule, and so I'm just going to give her a little plug for that, and I'll drop you now so you don't have to sit here on camera with me, David. But thank you so much for joining us. Continue in the chat stream, and I'm going to talk about the next startup a little bit before bringing Mark on. Thank you again, and we enjoy your trip across the country.
Thank you. I'm back in New York Monday, so thanks.
Awesome, perfect. Okay, chat soon. Bye-bye. All right, so I apologize for doing this online, but there was a little bit of an emergency with our next guest, and so she actually doesn't even know that I told her in the text, but she can't see us right now. She had a pet emergency, and she is currently at the vet hospital, and so we are going to I'll send her the best wishes and hope that everything works out well for her dog. And I will talk a little bit about it. Allie is the co-founder of a new company that hasn't even launched yet called Monday Carrot. And so if you go right now to online to mondaycarrot.com, you'll see a splash page there, and you will get the clue that it is about food and nutrition. And she's got a really incredible product with great technology, and I don't want to speak too much for her, but it looks like health food and drink powders and shakes and that kind of thing, but it really has some incredible technology behind it. Super high-end, high-quality food, and it will be launching soon, and hopefully we'll have an opportunity to have Allie back on at another time. I think she's giving me a little bit of information here. Oh, no, she is being pulled back in to talk to the veterinarians about her doggy. So again, check out Monday Carrot. We're really sorry that Allie couldn't come, and she's in our thoughts and our prayers, and we'll be looking out for her. And also challengebox.com we've just heard from David, and some great feedback from everyone in the audience about that as well. I'm going to bring back on Mark now to give us his feedback on the questions that David asked, as well as just some final thoughts. And again, thank you everyone for your patience this morning. And Philip's got some questions too. As I'm connecting with Mark here to bring him on, I'll recap again after Mark is finished about how to get involved in these broadcasts and some different forms of broadcasts as well. So first off, let's see if this connects. Hello, Mark.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can. So welcome back. Thank you so much for your questions in the chat stream and comments in the chat stream for David on Challenge Box, and you've heard that I have been getting text messages from Allie. So we're gonna unfortunately not have Allie on today, but we'll schedule a time for you to meet and talk with her again. I think you're gonna love what she's doing. Again, I mentioned her company's name is Monday Carrot, so everyone check that out. But now I'll let you have some final thoughts here for Challenge Box. And did you hear the question? I typed it in Okay, perfect.
I like a lot what he's doing. My curiosity is going to be how he's going to execute to stay relevant. I think there's so many things out there because we're a fitness society. But in saying that, I think the health and fitness community is one of the most powerful communities. They're like a parent. They're always going to be there for you if you produce something amazing. So I do think that every company is going after everybody, and I think that's a mistake. I really think we should target either people who are fit or people who are unfit, and really push towards one group and really build that to be so strong and powerful. I think MyFitnessPal did that. Most of the people who used it early on knew what they were doing, and so they built a whole culture, and then it grew from that. And as far as funding, if we can bootstrap it, that's better. We can be a multimillionaire that way. If we can't, then I would take money now, but be smart who you can take. But I'm always for, unless you're building an oil company or a solar company that you require $100 million or more, I'm always for building it through bootstrapping and without taking any money until there's a point that you really, really need to do. So you have to really assess that. So those are my comments to him. I think we should do some discount codes, some specials, some partnerships like ClassPass, and a few that are really, really strong. But everyone uses everything, and I think it's got to be very, very targeted. Also, one of the big things that I'm totally against cleansing. I believe they don't work. They're a quick fix. You've been eating bad for a month, all of a sudden you do something for a week and you're better. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. And I think the same thing with this. If you're able to go after those that are unhealthy or need some weight off or want to do a challenge or a marathon or whatever, he can get committed people, and if he's truly able to execute on getting them to finish and work with them constantly, he's going to have loyal people forever. So this can be really, really huge. if that's done. But if it's just sending somebody something and following up and so forth, yeah, I don't see it lasting. There's a bunch of us who are very, very committed, very detail-oriented, that can do that don't need somebody with us. But I have a lot I work with that I need to be constantly, every hour, every 30 minutes, motivating them, helping them, working with them. So, otherwise it's just another Jawbone or this or another service. He's mixing services that others have separately. He's putting them into one. But how can he execute it into one to where it's like, wow, it's getting me to hit all the things I want to hit, and actually it being worth it.
Good. Great advice for Challenge Box. Thank you so much. With regard to just generally for startups, so you mentioned that if you can bootstrap, do so until you know that you've got things working. It's a great way to get through product market fit stage and make sure that you've got paying customers. So that's sort of, I'm leading the witness here a little bit, but when do startups know that it's the right time? Like, what would be some good signals that, okay, now I need funding?
You need to hire a project manager. You need to upgrade your systems, and you're unable to negotiate properly, and your product all of a sudden is not the way it needs to be due to execution, and so forth. You don't want to get money because you want a bigger office space, you want a salary. I totally understand all of those, but really look at what you're building and what does it need. And so if you need to bring on a doctor, for example, to evaluate each member to see if they fit and to give them guidance, and that doctor isn't willing to do it for free, and you don't have it, then you go get funding. But I can understand that, because then when I'm working the challenge, I have a qualified doctor telling me the specifics for a nutritionist. So it's all about making sure that the pain in your product is being alleviated, so that way people are like, wow. When you go into a gym, it's not about it being nice, it's about the weight's not falling apart. It's about when you talk to a professional who gives you advice that when you use it, it works. And that costs you money, and it's a value.
Perfect. So, and I guess the long and short of it, those are all perfect examples. It comes down to when you're capacity constrained, or another way to say it is when you're inhibited, your growth is inhibited, when you're not able to grow as fast as you could if you had additional money. So you're feeling the pressure of being constrained.
Well, absolutely, and getting the money to escalate what you need done quickly. But I've seen people get money quickly and waste it because they didn't know what they were using it for.
Yeah. So definitely be pushed by a need for the cash rather than having the cash push you to do things, because then you may make the best decisions. And I've seen that on both sides too. Perfect. Okay, David says startups are always capacity constrained. I was thinking more on the revenue side, when you're not able to generate as much revenue as you could, right? Sometimes where startups are spending a lot of time and energy but not necessarily generating sales. So I was more referring to sales could be larger than they are, based on the fact that you're limited by, as Mark said, either a person or a facility if you're producing a hard good, or something like that. So if you're constrained if your revenue is constrained, is more of what I was talking to. But yes, startups are always capacity constrained. As founders, we're always wearing a million hats and working around the clock. So that is a good point. All right, Mark, thank you so much for joining us. I'm happy that we were able to overcome our technical challenges today and have you on. Thank you for the feedback, as well as for sharing your story. And definitely, if folks want to connect with you, either put it in the chat stream, or they can contact me, and I will do my best to connect people with you that way. You can put a note on my wall, or you can send me an email, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. Did you have anything else you wanted to share, Mark?
No, I like Challenge Box. Thank you for having me. I will try it and see how it works, and people can connect with me at Mark Hamadi on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, or markhamadi.com. You just Google my name. You'll find me. I'm always willing to answer and help and guide somebody.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.
All right. So this was a wonderful broadcast with Mark and David, and incredible advice and comments and feedback and questions in the chat stream. So thank you for those who actually logged in and participated in that way. If you're just watching and you didn't log in this morning, that's okay too. We appreciate you watching. Definitely send information to me, to Mark, and to David if you have questions. Our thoughts are with Allie this morning, and we hope that everything goes well with her dog. Do check out Monday Carrot as well, and we'll have her on at another time, and we will hope that things will run a little bit more smoothly with regard to the technical issues. If you're just coming on and you missed part of the broadcast, again, my name is Jennifer Hopp, and I'm doing live streaming to help connect startups with investors and experienced entrepreneurs from across the country. David is normally in New York, which is what I said at the top of the hour, but as we found out when he came on, he's actually in Texas today, traveling across country with a friend who's doing a marathon. So it's a good point. It shows that we can connect people through this platform no matter where they are, and we often have startups from other parts of the world as well. So if you are a startup founder and you would like to present your startup and get feedback from me, a guest investor, and the audience, definitely send information to me. You can do so at hello@BizStartLive.com. If you would like to participate in one of the other types of sessions, I know we had someone who wanted to do a hash session. I think that was Philip in the chat stream. We do hash sessions where we'll let anyone come on as a guest and talk about their business ideas, and those are a lot of fun. We have so much fun during those sessions because it's rapid fire, and we all brainstorm on different business ideas from anything as seemingly small as a lemonade type stand all the way up to flight simulators. So those are fun sessions, and we'll be doing one next week. So definitely check it out. I post everything on Instagram. I've moved to Instagram. That's where I live now on social media. Everything is Instagram. So if you follow me on Instagram, it's Jennifer P. Hopp, just like it is here on YouNow. I'm Jennifer P. Hopp across all social networks. But I am now spending all of my time on Instagram. I put stuff about BizStart.Live in my feed on the wall, and then I put personal fun stuff, which is mostly health and fitness related, in the story, which is a lot like Snapchat. It's up in that 24-hour story. So if you follow along the story, you get to see my craziness throughout the day with my diet, my workouts, and my friends. And then if you want to learn more about BizStart.Live and when our next sessions are, you can follow along in the feed, and also message me on Instagram, Jennifer P. Hopp there. So we would love to have you join in on future broadcasts, and we are going to have a lot of amazing guests in the future as well. So follow along to learn about when those broadcasts will be taking place. And in any case, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this morning, for being patient with the technical challenges, and for all of your comments and feedback in the chat stream, as well as the people who are messaging me during on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and text. We've been getting rapid fire feedback from all sources, so I appreciate those as well. Thank you so much for taking the time, and we look forward to seeing you all next week. Take care. Bye-bye.